You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
I said I like that you brought those.
Oh, me too. They're good.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is a hostage situation. This is episode 304 of East Central's favorite podcast.
You can't declare that if you invited the hostage taker.
I'm signing to them what's going on, actually.
I don't know who the hostage is, if it's me or Jesse, but we're here. This is Jeremiah Morrell, Mark Fultz, Jesse Riddle being the protest candidate that he is. Executive video audio producer Zach Burcham is over yonder.
Zach is in good, what's the word I'm looking for? Good spirits.
Zach is entertained.
He has a smile. Yeah,
Zach is very entertained.
He hasn't smiled since 1982.
It's really funny to watch, kind of like a form of the karma train come around. So Jesse got pestered real hard to show up tonight, and then he shows up and he decides he's going to go full Jesse Riddle.
Just so everyone knows, the hardwood here is pretty bad.
If you guys could have heard the audio between the
show.
I need to buy some gear for these guys.
Yeah. I mean, listen, for us having you on our website and considering you a teammate, you sure do make it difficult.
Hey,
I swear to God.
ChatGPT does not know who I am, so your guys' SEO is apparently crappy.
Well, you can work on that too.
Hey, but it knows who you are, and it knows who Dakota is.
This show's about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. Topics today are going to be revolving around Mark Fultz, Jesse's very good best friend who came here to support.
Yeah, you just felt bad.
I was conned into
like my
this.
emotional support dog.
Yeah. Emotional support fat man.
Ass dog.
Mark is we've had him on here a number of times before. Apparently he doesn't know that Dakota Davis is in fact a real creature, because they haven't actually crossed paths.
I don't think he's real.
But Jesse is going to be sitting in for Dakota. Dakota's plan for today, before the 4-letter, thing got him all tied up, keeping the lights on for people.
The mayonnaise company?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The Southern Mayonnaise Company.
Where Jesus also works.
They kept him occupied. So, the goal, the plan was that Mark Fultz has gotten into the tattoo life professionally, and Dakota has a bit of an addiction. So he said, bring your books of all of your things, and we'll go shopping for Dakota's next tattoo. And he's not here, so we get to pick it ourselves. So we're going to talk with Mark about the tattoo life, what that's all about. And then during the course of the week, planning this, putting a lot of thought, time, and energy into planning this show, we noticed that it's real hazy outside, so we're going to talk about that.
Some of us did. Some of us noticed that it was hazy outside.
There's a guy on the internet who's really skinny, but it has some Botox that's super funny, and his tickets are turning into a commodity. That's like a tulip bloom crisis. Conor Daly got fired, and that's what we're going to talk about. Exactly. And Jesse didn't read the notes, so it's going to be good. But if he did read the notes, he couldn't read it because the print quality is somewhat questionable.
Yeah. So tune into the Patreon if you would like to learn about printers.
I don't think that made the Patreon. I think
we'll go there anyway.
I think it was the safety time in between. But we do have to say thank you to the folks that make this show happen each and every month. The patrons, they do get an extra 15 to 20 minutes of open, candid bliss from the hosts. And if you do $50 or more a month, you get shout out at the front of every episode. That's Christy Avery, the incredible, wonderful Christy Avery, the Wall House Bomb, and our Norwex dealer, if y'all are into Norwex. Jonathan Phillips, city council candidate / Buick and GMC dealer over at Andy Moore and Fishers, and Anthony Meyer of A Different Breed Trucking, who gets your FedEx packages through. If you need any merch,
are there notes over here to the left that you keep looking over here to read? It's like our GMC and Chevrolet dealer. I'm like, there's nothing over here that says that.
Are you talking about me or Mark?
Yeah, you, because you keep looking.
I keep looking over to be conversational.
Oh,
no, it's just me. This is my natural hosting.
Cool.
There are no notes. This
did
is
we
all,
take care of all of the high donors?
all of the notes that we have are printed right here on this document that was typed up 37 minutes before I arrived at the studio.
Yeah, Anthony Meyer made it. All right, great.
Of A Different Breed Trucking.
Thank you to Jesse Riddle for also a $50 donation every month.
Yes. And what's the name of Jesse's company? In case that people need, we're here to promote. You showed up. We're going to promote.
We'll do it
now.
at the end. Final thoughts.
No, we don't have good retention. You should do it on the front end of the show.
Actually, I don't
have high hopes for people sticking through to the end on this one.
Yeah. So the letter is the URL would be the letter B, the letter I, the letter T, the letter M as in Mary, the letter V as in Victor, and the letter R as in Roger.com.
Really?
So if you're needing some
Bravo Indigo Tango.
Yeah, Bravo Indigo Tango
Mackinac.
Nope. Struggling with the end right now. Victor, and then Romeo. But I don't. Yeah, the M's missing the M right now.
MAGA.
There's some dude from in a Marines. It's really
it's the NATO phonetic alphabet.
Anyway, .com. Yeah, bitmover.com. bitmvr.com. That's BIT.
Mike.
MVR.
Mike's in his car just screaming. It's Mike.
Yeah, it is Mike. It is Mike. That's right. Oscar Mike. Yeah, on the move. Oscar Mike.
All right. Mark, let's talk about you since you're the focus of this, even though Jesse's the petulant child sitting between us.
You didn't tell people to send you an email or message them at bosshawkliberty.com.
Okay. We moved on.
Fax.
Yeah, fax me, please. My printer does a great job. Mark, you're into the tattooing thing. You've been an artist. I have always been a supporter, even though I don't always understand the artwork. I've been a supporter. My laptop has rocked the Merker Mark phallic logo for years now.
Thank you for that.
Tell us where you're practicing, where you got your doctoring in tattoo artistry, and where we're at in this process, because you've got your book and it looks pretty cool.
Thank you. Well, I'm at Black Sheep Tattoo Society in Greenfield, Indiana. I kind of got started. A lot of tattooers are not going to like this at home.
Just tattooing random animals.
Yeah, just any farm animal I could find.
There's a small town in Indiana with rabbits everywhere.
Surely.
So you could tattoo a rabbit in Shirley.
But no, totally kidding on that. I was not tattooing cats and animals and pigs. Although you can tattoo pigskin, and that's essentially what you really should practice on. No, but I did start at home practicing on fake skin, and way back in the day on a couple willing friends, and they were as good as you thought they were.
Jesse, take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just Dance or whatever you got. I'm joking.
I'm trying to remember what it said. Yeah, Just Dance or something. I think that's what it.
Let's Dance.
Sam Miller's Let's Dance. Yeah.
No, I did have an apprenticeship in Greenwood a couple years ago under some killer artists. It didn't work out. I ended up quitting the apprenticeship after quite a few months, but no hard feelings.
COVID happened, man.
That too. That was a weird time trying to get into tattooing when I just lost my job because of COVID. And then it's like, now I'm going to go like draw blood essentially. And people, yeah.
In a pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But you got some exposure to some cool people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I learned a lot through it. It didn't go unnoticed for sure. But then I shelved it for like a few months and it just ate at me. I was like, I feel like I got more to learn or something to offer with it. I mean, it's like just the artwork I make. It just seems it's fitting for tattooing. So it just makes sense for me to like try to do it. And not only that, it's the hardest effing thing I've ever tried to do. So it's like, I'm going to run towards that now instead of trying to find a job that I couldn't find and hating life going into work. What's up, Dakota?
He's at home,
but no,
enjoying life.
I'm yeah. He doesn't have to come out and do more of this.
Yeah. He's not working.
But no, I'm definitely new to it for sure. I built my portfolio with like a bunch of drawings, flash drawings. For the people that don't know, like tattoo flash is something that's usually like a trimmed down design. That's very basic for tattooing, something you can just like easily get, basic line, basic shade, basic color. I worked on
this
that.
stuff you do in an hour or so.
Yeah.
Hour or two, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. But then not only that, I mean, I've already had my own machine. I've had everything to do a successful tattoo at home. But I sat home and just done practice skins, which is basically just plastic silicone. I mean, it teaches you a lot and it also is very deceiving at the same time. Like, I feel like I'm better on fake skin than I am with real skin. So that's where I'm at with actual tattooing. I'm definitely apprentice level. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything because I certainly don't. I got a lot to learn, but it's hard. It's working out. I'm doing it. So I'm not going to complain too much. It's hard as shit. And I respect it a lot because.
So tell us about the art style, because that part fascinates me, and you've been doing that longer than you've been in the tattoo side. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that you can design something that for your, that you can do as a tattoo, or somebody else, you can have a senior level artist do some of the more complicated stuff.
Right.
What's your style? How do you describe your artistic style and where your ideas come from?
I have no idea how to answer that question because people ask me that. And I've dwelled on it. I was like, I don't understand.
Because there's a lot of skulls and there's a lot of boobs.
Yeah, I mean, but like the stuff I brought in here is like. But
there's also like pinup girls. There's a lot of stuff that's like it's very unique. Like it's your style, but I don't know how to describe it.
I mean, it's definitely a traditional approach, like traditional as in meaning the style of tattooing, like Sailor Jerry type stuff, as everybody has seen, like the very basic of the basic of style of tattooing.
1940s naval tattoos.
Kinda. It's in that same vein. Like I said, I'm just trying to, for me right now, I'm just trying to practice, basic lines if you flip through that, or you could see them. It's just basic line and then basic shade. I'm just trying to get those two elements down, and I'll start introducing more difficult, more color, or color for that matter, because I'm not focusing on color at all right now. I don't know how to answer like what kind of style I got, but like as far as like for tattooing right now, I'm just trying to focus on, I guess, traditional, because it seems attainable to me. That's even though it's still super hard and difficult, but I mean, I'm not opposed to like trying to step out of those boundaries either and learn something much more difficult. Like, I'm not very interested in realism. I know I can like draw pet portraits on paper. I've tried to do a little bit of realism on fake skin, and it came out okay. I'm never 100% happy with what I put out either. So
I think everybody's the most difficult critic.
Don't get me wrong, I look at that and I'm just like, I don't want to see it. But I'm also like, I care enough to put it together for something that people could flip through, and if they decided they want to get it, they can get it. Because most of that in there right now is stuff I think I could do. Some of it's a lot more difficult than I probably think it is. But again, I'm just trying to be humble about it too. So like I did probably my second biggest one yesterday, and it was a learning experience. Every single one of them I do, it's a little bit different, because I'm learning now that like I can do this on fake skin, pretty much expect the same results back to back to back almost. But then if I tattoo you, your skin's going to feel different than Jesse's for the most part, or mine, or it might be the same design, but it might look different just because the way the skin is.
Because there's variations.
Yeah. And parts of the body too. Like there's a lot going on. It's like the fake skin can only go so far, because it's usually I've been doing it on just like an armrest, which is pretty much flat. I know you can like definitely take like a pool noodle and then like rubber band it around it so you like can purposely make it more difficult. Again, that's like what the practice skin has taught me, which a lot of, depending on who you talk to, people don't like you doing that, especially at home. But, and I've had a talk with like a couple other tattooers about it, and it's just like they agree or they feel strongly one way or the other about it. And I get it. You shouldn't practice at home. You shouldn't tattoo at home unless you have like your business license and you're doing everything, you know, by the book. At that point, you have a studio. But for me, it's taught me how to hold a machine, like understand what you're touching, everything that you're touching, and like when you should not touch what you're touching. Like I still think about it as I'm like actually tattooing or using fake skin, but it's taught me how to hold a machine, try to like get me out of my comfort zone a little bit because shit's hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's so hard. Like, and if you flip through like the fake skin stuff from earlier, those are like, that's not even all of it. But if you go to the very back of the page, it goes to the very first like skin. That's the second one there.
Yep.
You go to
it's the one that's like full of bricks because
it's heavy as shit.
Fake skin
the one that
is like,
says pretend skin.
so pretend skin.
But yeah, like the very last page in that is from I think 2019. I decided to dig out the old machine I had from when I think I was like 15, I don't know. I got a machine when I was like 14 to practice on, and all the way back. Like no. Keep flipping all the way. Yeah.
Oh, this is from the museum.
So yeah, that is like when I very first decided I think I should try to pursue tattooing like seriously, and that was like 2019. So to put this in perspective,
so in 3 years you've gone from like radio to high definition television here, Bucko.
3 years, it's like 5.
19 to 23 is 4 years.
Well, I mean,
he's not good at math.
It felt
God, he's pretty though, isn't he?
Yeah, but
all right. So, that one's definitely from like literally, I think like January when I went and busted that stuff out. But anyway, no, the point is like that is utter failure. But that was like the first couple nights of.
I said the only failure is that you got ink all over it.
Yeah,
but
again, like that was that. What I'm saying is how much I've learned from there. Like I didn't know how to get the damn ink off the fake skin. Which, if anybody is even doing this right now or doing what I was doing, yeah, they realize that's a problem unless you use a shitload of Vaseline to get that off. And that's just different between actual tattooing. But it's like to get that damn thing clean, it's a nightmare.
So do you put Vaseline on it when you before you start touching it?
For fake skin, yeah. And then that's for fake skin, but depending on who you talk to, like right now, actual tattooing, like human skin, I'm using A&D ointment, but I'm using it in just like.
Do you do that before or after?
Through the whole process.
I was just going to say, do you need to hydrate the skin before you lay the ink? I've never even asked you this before.
No. I mean,
like if I come in with my ashy Irish skin, like, do you have to like?
No,
you don't have to do anything.
I mean, I would prefer you be a little more moisturized. But I mean,
will you come in and give me a massage?
We're going to send you into the cocoa butter room.
No, we'll just shave you up, do some stencil prep, put the stencil goop essentially on you, lay the stencil, and wait for you to dry.
You have a better printer than we do.
I probably do.
Now he does.
I probably do.
The first one he had was rough. We worked on it for.
Actually, I think I still have that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we worked on it for a while, trying to get it to work.
So, how's the process work with you? Because we had Chad Rowe on Row. I never know.
He's a killer.
And he'll work the night before on art for somebody. You've got your flash book. If somebody says, "Hey, I want to come in and I want a picture of say a Formula car running over a yard of bricks," how much time do you need to be like, I could draw that for you and we'll do a tattoo?
For me, right now, I need a long time for that because I'm so new to it. For Chad, weeks. It might be a lot easier, and I'm sure it's a lot easier for him. I'm not doing a lot right now. I'm not working on a ton of people. It's a few here. It's a few throughout the week. I'm definitely not busy every single day, but if I'm not actually, I'm always doing something towards the artwork. If it's sketching or making all of that, because it's like that's the most refined version of it. I mean, my sketchbooks are filled with just garbage of what that turned out to be, like, or what that was.
And it's multiple revisions. Get to that point.
Like if somebody needed that, yeah, preferably like for me right now, I definitely want as much time as possible because it's like, I'm not going to bite off more than I can chew. And I kind of did that in the apprenticeship a couple years ago, and it came out fine, but the stress level was a major turnoff, and I don't want to do it
because it's like more severe than a permanent marker.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I want to respect it to the point I'm like, I don't want to, I'm just not going to bite off more than I can chew. And yesterday it was like a difficult one, but it was my original design, and I've probably done it on fake skin, different versions 4 or 5 different times. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. But again, you take it to skin, it's so
part
different.
I assume there's a few things that you look through in your Jesse and I are left brain wired. So it's, how many tattoos does this other person have? What do they, if this is their only tattoo, then it's a little higher stress probably than if they've got, 1,000 tattoos and it's just one more.
I'll be straight up. If like you only have one tattoo, don't come to me. Like, just don't. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I respect it if if Jesse, being my best friend, was like, hey, I want a tattoo, I'd be like, nah. Like, I just don't want to do that. I don't want your first tattoo. I'd rather it be better. Like, that's me just trying to be like,
yeah. But it's where you are in the process, right? As we're following you along, because you're in 2030, you're going to have a hell of a lot different experience level than you do in 2023.
Yeah. Like, I'm definitely like apprentice level. I'm not saying I'm better. I am. And like, I might even be below that. Like, I'm really just new to it. I've definitely done some in the past, like years ago. They've been passable. But again, like I just said, I look at my stuff and I'm just like, no, I don't want to look at it. Like even my girlfriend she has, but probably, she has quite a few from me. And I'm just like, I got to look at that shit all the time. I see my faults and stuff, but I look at my own tattoos that I've got from like good quality artists, and I see like nicks and like hiccups in it as the process.
Like, maybe people don't even know. I do because I'm around you, and I know what I know about tattooing is because of our conversations. But perhaps like Jeremiah doesn't know.
Oh, I have no clue.
And other people who don't, or who are listening, who may not have tattoos, like what sets, like what would set, or how would you know, like looking at something, if it's a good tattoo or not?
If it's a good tattoo or not?
Besides, like, obviously, we've talked about this. It's like if the client's happy, that's all that matters. But
yeah, because
from the artist's perspective, I know what to look for because you've talked to me about it. And I've even said, like, I went and looked at people who I think we know do great work. But if you really want to nitpick, like, you can find flaws all day.
Oh, for sure. Me, what's a successful tattoo or good tattoo? Just solid. It's the best way to put it. If it's clean, if there's no like scarring, if there's no, consistent line work, consistent like line weight. So if the line is like really thick, or and then it like gets a little bit thin, which I'm noticing that with myself, is trying to understand consistent lines. It might start off strong and get a little bit thin, and even the ones I've done on myself, I see the bad parts of it. But it's, to me, if it's not scarred, it's not faded. Honestly, if it's just clean, not blotchy.
So,
but I've talked to people that like think they have shitty tattoos. I'm like, it looks fine to me. Like, I'm looking at it as like, no, that's actually some solid line work. I feel like you are nitpicking it, or like you kind of just don't like it, and that's like,
you don't like the designs.
And they put that on themselves. And I'm like,
so that's the other thing, right? Is it's permanent. I think if it's on you all the time, you get tired of looking at it. It's like, I don't get this way, but like a lot of people, they get tired of the way their furniture is like set up at home.
Yeah, and they'll rearrange shit.
And they want to rearrange it. I'm like,
the same thing.
I'm like, to me, it's like if you see it every day, you're going to get annoyed with it. So it's probably nicer to have a tattoo you don't see every day, I would think. But like, people just see it. You're like, yeah, I haven't seen it in like 5 or 6 months. Like, it's just on my back somewhere. I can't see it.
And you're talking about line weight, right? Like, you come from you come at this differently. Your background is in graphic design. You spent a number of years professionally doing graphic design. So those are the kinds of things that you've trained your brain to think about.
Right.
I wouldn't even say it was graphic design though.
Yeah. That job was very entry into it, to be honest about it. But it's, as far as like graphic design goes, the background is mainly self-taught with that, with a little bit of like course training. And then like the job I had, I printed beer advertisements, and they were usually just stuff already put together, and I was going in and altering the text. I mean, sometimes I have to get a little creative, like with the breweries, which was super cool. But other than that, it was very, very basic. Like I could probably teach everybody how to do it within like a week or less.
I was going to say, I got to the point. I was like, dude, we can automate your job. Like a lot of it was template driven.
Oh, it's definitely template driven.
Yeah,
like I would just download everything.
Deliver beer to bars and tell them what the bucket special was that week, man.
Yeah,
it's an important role. You're a cog in the wheel of the bar economy.
Yeah, that was fake work. That job was such a fake job, and it sucked.
I was gonna say, your art.
I'm drinking Miller Lite.
Your art started. I'm trying to think. Probably you were like, I'm trying to think like when you came over to my house, and I scanned all of your art. Remember when? I came
for that T-shirt?
No, like I scanned all your work for you one time, and we digitized all your work. So that you had it, so that it wasn't just on paper. I think I still have these scans somewhere.
I'd have to see. I'm not familiar.
But it was like, yeah, so there was like an owl and some.
The owl was that T-shirt though.
Yeah, but there was other stuff.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say I would say it's like kind of like mixed media, like because you would do like pencil. You'd use like colored pencils. You would do marker. Mm-hmm. I'm not mixed media might include like clay work and stuff. You didn't. Really
mixed media. Yeah, that's perfect.
But like, yeah, I would say like that. You're more of like a non-digital like mixed media artist where it's driven through ink and charcoal and paint. And so you have morphed more into a digital artist. Although you're kind of going back, but you're doing what I've explained to you and others. It's kind of like vector art, but not using vectors. Like you're not using vectors at all. Like
right yet.
Yeah. I'm still trying to convince them to do it, but it's because I think it'll streamline your workflow. But you're doing like more simplified versions of things because it's learning the idea of like less is more, right? Like,
oh yeah.
And going through that.
So I've learned like that term, the less is more, so much from that beer, print advertising job. It's like, you don't need all this clutter and bullshit to read a $3 price change. Yeah. Like, less is more with this stuff.
Be super simple.
So
I'm watching the chat. Danny Morrell's very happy with the work you did designing his custom basketball.
Yeah, he's
jerseys.
reached out to me about a tattoo, and I've even asked the guy that I'm under about the tattoo he wants, and he's like, he doesn't recommend it either. I'm sorry, Danny.
What's he want?
I don't know if I want to put that out there for him.
Oh, let's help him. Yeah.
No, I mean he did want like something on his finger. I'm just joking, but it's like the way I understood it, he wanted it like a ring, like pretty much a ring around his finger. It'll work fine on the top, but on the bottom of your finger, it's just going to wear out. And I'm like, I kind of don't want to get involved with that right now because it's just, it's not that and that's another thing, right? Right now, I'm only like accepting arms and legs. Like I'm not doing your within reason. I mean, and I'm only doing just black lines, black shades, like I said, from the foundation of it. But yeah, I don't want to do hands or anything like that right now. Because again, I know where I stand. I'm constantly reminding these people, hey, there might be inconsistencies in the stuff. Like I am new, I am learning. But no, to add on to that, like you mentioned earlier about like, and to bring it back to your original question, it's like, what's my style? I don't know how to answer that because it's like I've got knowledge in digital art of like making like digital paintings, doing exactly like this traditional style of artwork that I have here, which is mainly mixed or made with just markers and colored pencil and coffee just to stain it. I know how to do that just as well in Photoshop or digitally. I mean, I can make I can make a beer advertisement. I can do a pet portrait.
You've done like custom
I'm pretty
landscapes.
versatile.
I mean, you've done some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know how to label myself. I'm just lately I'm understanding is I'm very fascinated in the things I don't know how to do, and it frustrates me. Like even with not only like with tattooing, just artwork in general.
Just
like,
looking around the corners.
Yeah,
trying to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, and it drives me nuts.
But you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't like to look at my stuff, and I'm like, I see my faults. But again, like the traditional style approach is, like you said, you've seen a couple of pinups in there. I'm not good at the human figure at all. Like I can't draw hands. I suck at it. But like a pinup, you take the most basic points of it, even with traditional art.
You just like to start with the round parts.
So, yeah, start there and work your way out. No, like if you look at like a pinup's face, like a very basic drawing or a tattoo, you look at her eyes. It's just going to be an arch. It might have a couple wisps for like the eyelash and a dot for the eye, and then like 2 dots for the nose. And you put it all together, and your brain understands, that's a face. But it's like that's what I'm fascinated about it. And when I very first started the apprenticeship, like I got humbled really fast because I had a newfound appreciation for like traditional style tattooing or just traditional art. It's like, oh, you really trim the fat of everything on this to make it the most simplest form, but a way that's still readable and you understand it. And it's kind of what I'm like always trying to remind myself, quit overthinking this shit. Just make something and do it.
It's almost a style where you're letting the human brain fill in the gaps.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Right? You just remove as much as you possibly can until what's left is the image.
Mm-hmm. Just trim everything out. If it doesn't need to be there, get rid of it.
This is why he didn't know it was so hazy outside, Jesse.
Yeah, he's not seeing it.
I realize it's hazy outside, but I walk outside. I'm like, oh, it's hazy. What's that about?
Wait, because it looks like August.
That's the end of the thought for me. I
was gonna say it looks like August. Like when you go out, it's like a hazy summer day, but there's no humidity and it's 75. So you're like,
what's this?
What is going on? Like it feels very bizarre.
So it's early June, and we have been essentially smoke attacked by the Canadians, and not even by the Canadians you would have expected.
They're trying to smoke us out.
It's the northeastern Canadians.
Yeah, the worst.
It's Nova
French.
Scotia and the French.
Yeah,
the Quebec. This is Quebec smoke.
The non-bathers.
It's not
the hairy Canadians.
Canada.
It's not from Alberta, and it's because we have wildfires out west. We've kind of become accustomed to that, and it's this dry May snuck up on everybody, and all of a sudden there's like 200 wildfires in northeastern Canada, and then because it's a globe, we've got this weird like wind twist thing going on. And it's coming in from the northeast. So
I've not seen the satellite photos like how it's actually moving.
Yeah. So then there's these. Have you noticed on your phone that you've had these air quality warnings showing up?
No.
Has that happened? You don't.
I don't have.
But I know they're there.
Are they from the government?
Know what you're talking
about. I don't know.
I don't have any.
You have no national anything.
I have all that stuff turned off.
So my phone, Google just populates it.
Oh, because I don't have Google.
So there's the air quality index, the AQI. And there's like this scale of, hey, this is what good air is, this is what bad air is. And I was like starting to see these things popping up, and my phone's like, yeah, it's like a 152 today in Henry County. I don't know what the hell that is, but it sounds bad. Bad enough they're warning me. So
I've gone my whole life never seen this in my life.
I've never seen these metrics, but I know that Jesse would be like, oh, we have to have a way to measure this. So they've developed a scale, and green 0 to 50, it's fine. There's no risk. There's no problems. Air quality 51 to 100, the air is acceptable, but some, the old people that might be troubled by COVID are the ones that are are potentially struggling with that. 101 to 150 is that if you're sensitive, you might have some health effects, but the general public's not a problem.
Besides like that, what do these numbers represent?
It is sulfur dioxide in the air, carbon monoxide, particle pollution, ground level ozone, and nitrogen dioxide in the air. So all of these different factors that go into the air. So this scale goes up to like 300 and above, and like 300 and above is like an emergency health warning. Everybody can be affected.
It's a volcano.
Don't go outside.
Yeah, it's a volcano.
So the scale goes like 300 and above.
Like, I just don't know when else you would have that. Like,
So
it's literally like Dante's Peak.
Here's the thing. You've seen these pictures from New York City coming out.
Yeah.
And it looks like the sky has turned and it's terrible. Like it looks just rough outside. So this IQ Air website says, here's what it is across the country. And this morning in York, Pennsylvania, it was a 401.
Was that a monitor misreading though?
No, it was all over the East Coast. So they were in these like horrific, terrible conditions this morning. And I'm like, wow, this is insane. So you can see on this map here, Jesse, as we're doing the weather live on the podcast, you've got this swooping red that goes like all the way from the upper Great Lakes across the Ohio Valley and out to like Washington, D.C. and New York City. And it's this wind, the Canadian smoke has like essentially followed a hurricane pattern.
So it's like,
and it's swooping. Around. Yeah. So it's swooping from the northeast across the top Arctic Circle or
is
whatever.
It swooping
and coming back around.
Clockwise or counterclockwise?
I believe
it looks like it should be going this way because it's really bad, lightens up and then kind of swoops up.
Yeah. I think it's going from the north to the
south, the west, the north.
Yeah.
So it's clockwise.
Yes. Yes.
That's why I use that word.
We will say that's the case.
Mark's not good at math.
Clockwise.
So the takeaway I had with this is
okay. That's a screen.
The clock's have nothing to do with it.
All right.
It's really confusing.
So are people going to care?
I'm not good at math. No.
Are we going to? No,
you
like,
said
this sucks.
You said we should talk about this. I was like, why? We can't do anything about it. Because really, you can't do anything about it.
I mean, America's sending a bunch of firefighting equipment to Canada to try to put out wildfires because you got 200 wildfires that started.
We got to figure out how to hoodwink this in. You didn't even talk about regulations and stuff in Mark's career.
He didn't bring it up.
Well,
I
think
he left the opening over there because he's like, I'm doing it from home, and I was like, Jesse paints outside the lines. He's got to support it.
The most minimum effort on this podcast.
I was going to say to dip real quick back into the tattoo work. The lack of regulation in tattooing is actually very mind-boggling. Like you have to be like certified to get your hair, like get color in your hair. Like the certifications required to cut hair is obnoxious. But to like shove a needle in an arm and put ink on someone forever, no, don't worry.
Self-policing.
We're not really worried about
it.
If
it's a shitty tattoo artist, go back.
I'm not saying it needs a change.
Same thing with haircut.
Yeah, I'm not saying it needs a change, but like when they were remember when they were trying to get rid, and maybe they did. I think maybe they did get rid of the requirement for for
cosmetologists and barbers have massive.
Yeah, but I thought they got rid of some of them. They were trying to get rid of reduce one of those requirements, and everyone's like, well, if they get the wrong dye, they're just going to have really bad hair and might lose it. I'm like, oh, that's super terrible. But I'm like, these guys are shoving needles in people and there's nothing going on. Nobody's checking anything. There's no paperwork, nothing. You're just putting ink in. I'm like,
I feel like you kind of don't know what to look for. Like the people that come in to inspect that don't know what to look for.
Well, I'm saying even like as a concerned person,
I suspect
not
there's
for
some sort of health department review.
They came on to make sure that your stuff's clean, but there's nothing else. There's nothing to say that he knows what he's doing.
It depends by like state and county is kind of like what I've learned over the last few months. Like with where I'm at in Hancock County is it was fairly easy. Yeah. I just had to get my bloodborne pathogen and you essentially just pay, I think like 25 or 50, I can't remember, $25 or something. And you sit for 45 minutes to get through and you answer some questions. And then other than that, I had to pay the county, I think $50 to get my actual license. And that just by doing those two things alone, labeled me as a professional artist. And it's just hilarious because I'm like, no, I've got I paid you guys to make you happy. As far as me being a professional artist, no, I wouldn't say that.
You're good. You're good enough as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
But again, they had to come in and inspect my station, and I didn't know that. And I think the guy that was doing it before in Greenfield is either like in a different position or whatever, because a new person came in, according to the guys I'm working with, and like that, I don't even think they knew that they were going to come in and inspect my station or whatever. But basically, this came in and seen that I had a spot, my toolbox essentially, and then like a dirty needles container. That was it. But again, it's like the lady on the job site with a clipboard. Like,
right.
You know how to do my job.
Ticking the boxes.
Yeah.
There's nothing that, like, it's just mind blowing. Cause like the beautician, to get your license, you have to go through a legitimately approved schooling, right? Like you have all of that just to like cut some hair and put some color in it and know how to use colors, right? Like use the chemicals. And I understand, like, yeah, you could get a chemical burn and that would be really bad. But I'm like, you can also be allergic to the ink or whatever. Like to me, it's
you're not going to know that.
Yeah, no, you're not going to know
late.
that. But how to treat that, or like what advice to do.
They call 911. You should see a doctor.
No, this actually happened to a friend of mine. Like they are allergic to an ink and they essentially like have to go to a dermatologist. But like, it's just wild. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're talking about one, like, to me, like getting my hair cut and then getting a tattoo are on like completely different spectrums of things involving sharp shit.
Oh yeah.
One's permanent.
And one is really heavily regulated relatively compared to the one where you're actually literally lot of blood is being surfacing. There's blood involved and they're like, yeah, fuck it. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. But it's how the industry is set up. And
I know
it's tribal. Like it literally, like you learn how to tattoo from other tattoo artists.
Yeah.
And it's self-policing and you're
pick up their bad habits
and you're feeding your own industry people into it, where cosmetology and barbering, essentially you're creating barriers to entry. So you don't just have some random person show up and start doing it. That's what it is. And they've used their political power essentially to erect walls that say, oh, you need 2,000 hours of training to go be a barber. That's basically what it is.
Yeah,
hair braiding licenses.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, you would have, when he was telling me about getting it, I'm like, so like,
just look at Mark over there and realize.
I've already looked at Mark.
Look him right deep in the eye and realize people like Mark would need to spend the money or to make the friendships with 150 state legislators to create rules to protect people like Mark from people that want to be like Mark. They essentially need to weaponize government to create barriers to entry to say that no randoms can come in here without going to Mark's tattoo school.
He has to get into tattooing. Like,
right. I was going to say, most of them don't want.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's we didn't get into the culture parts of it either, but
we don't.
Because they don't want other people to get into it. Like it's a weird. It's like completely reverse from almost every. I'm going to use the word skilled trade because it's not easy to do. Where it's like most skilled trade and most trades, you're
trying to attract young people to come in.
Yeah, you want to bring in youth. Because you need laborers for one, but like even in like computer software and stuff. If you're the person who gatekeeps knowledge, like the horde comes after you and just, like points fingers and essentially just calls you a dick. And be like, what is wrong with you? And even, I mean, there's still the other side of the spectrum where like companies safeguard their stuff, right? Their processes and how they do stuff. But inside that doesn't happen. Inside of those walls, that doesn't happen. But based off of like watching him go through it and we have mutual friends who are also tattoo artists. Like literally like, yeah, we don't want anybody in here. And you're like, well, that's weird. Like that is the weird, like there's enough tattoos to go around, guys, for real. There really is. Like, have you seen what people, like everyone's getting tattoos. So it's not a lack of customers. It's like, the only thing they're doing right is like, you're kind of choking the service.
Hear how stressed that Mark is over there though.
I'm not stressed at all. Like he's not wrong though.
They're choking the service so they can continue to get the rates they get. And like that, it's essentially creating job security. And that's how I think they see it. And then when they get old enough, they're like, I guess we should probably get somebody in here to take over. But like it's just weird.
It's a weird walled garden.
It's a weird mentality.
And I don't, to kind of add to it, to comparing it to like, I guess like beauty school. It's like you have to go, do your X amount of hours, learn your process and everything. And there are tattoo schools and stuff. I don't think any of them have a great reputation. But I also really don't know. That's to kind of add to a little bit more of that. And it's like, to get into it, you should definitely, yes, get a apprenticeship, but not everybody can commit to an apprenticeship, commit to hair school. And I'm also the same person. It's like, well, I don't need permission to try to like seek out the knowledge personally, whether that's like practicing it at home on fake skin. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The weird line is, you see how much work I've put in on fake skin that look passable. At what point are you going to decide to like take that to someone else's skin at your house? And then you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're touching. You don't know the chemicals, like there's a ton of things. So yeah, you should get your apprenticeship or, hang around and understand it. But it's like, you can't just go do that. And like, I feel like, like you can go to like a beauty school, and it's much more easier to get into, to understand and learn those things. But like the tattooing industry is just, and I'm not like talking like I know a lot about it, because like I'm still learning, but it's like, that's what I've understood. Cause I'm like, I've had my toes in both sides. Like I've had the apprenticeship, learned a lot, but I've also learned a lot at home by practicing just on my fake skin and just
YouTube tutorials.
YouTube for sure. I mean, again, like you want to understand how something works, get on YouTube. It's probably a thing. And that's like, looking back on it now, I'm just like, I wanted the apprenticeship so bad years ago. And I didn't like seek out YouTube. I didn't seek out like messing with like the crappy machines I already had at home. I just wanted to do it like the right way and go into the apprenticeship, and I get the apprenticeship, and it wasn't exactly what I expected out of it. And I'm like, oh, I can like learn at home or practice this at home in my own time when I want to
recalibrate to your own. You homeschooled your way through your tattoo apprenticeship.
I mean, 50-50. I mean, don't get me wrong. I learned how to wrap a machine and like what I'm touching and everything, like, and techniques and the apprenticeship. And I'm learning now, you know what I mean? Like I've learned from both, and but yeah, you should definitely get an apprenticeship, but it's like, you can't just commit to an apprenticeship if you're just curious, what are you going to do? Just quit your job and then like, hopefully.
Yeah, the boat's not close enough to jump into,
Steve
right?
Down the street that's like has a shop that's going to bring you in and charge you money for it. Maybe not. It's just like, there's so many different factors, and there's just no clear cut path to it.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's so difficult, and it's frustrating.
Meanwhile, Jesse's over here just being retired, not having to worry about it.
I mean, same. It sucks. Well, he's on vacation.
The path is not clear. And I think what I hope is that there is a revolutionary change in the tattooing community to make it more easier to follow, which YouTube is kind of doing that. Like there are artists who want to share how stuff works, because I don't like any niche thing where like people gatekeep information. Like that's disgusting, and it's stupid, because what the biggest problem is you don't get any innovation, right, when you do that. Like so if you're going to gatekeep, it's like, well, no, you're just limiting the number of people who can do tattoos so that you quote unquote are the best. And it's like, what, you're almost afraid to like let other people in because you're afraid of the competition. So
it's so frustrating to me.
This gatekeeping thing is real, and it's in the next topic we're talking about as well, which is this. There's a comedian who's kind of come along from TikTok named Matt Rife. Guy from Cincinnati, has like blown up over the last 2 years. He's got millions of people following him on TikTok, and he was doing these really small clubs, and he would do a lot of crowd interaction. Working pretty blue, but the guy's super chiseled, damn near model.
I just want to say that I've seen him before he blew up.
Yeah.
So I'm way cooler than everybody else.
Yeah, I'm with you. But
I have no idea what's going on with him.
So this guy's been very funny, and he's had this meteoric rise. Now in the last 6 months, he's gotten signed to do, because TikTok's made him famous, because you don't go through the normal channels anymore. Now people get direct YouTube, they get whatever, and you can go viral. He's now announced the national tour. So Ashton Kutcher, from that 70s show,
okay.
he and Matt put a video out and essentially announced that they're doing a world tour and tickets are going on sale, I believe tomorrow. So he's going to do a tour date in Indianapolis.
With Ashton?
No, Ashton was just a part of rolling out the announcement, kind
I
of
seen they did
bringing it
something,
mainstream.
but I didn't see they did like a video.
Yeah, they did a video. It was just little. He was a genie essentially in the video, and hey, you get one wish. What's your wish? I want to be just like you. Oh, you can't do that. All right, I want more wishes. No, can't do that. All right, I want a world tour. Okay, sure, you got that. So he's done this world tour. So he's going to go to IU in February of next year, and he's going to be at Indy at like Old National Center.
So he's doing 2 stops here.
So 2 stops in Indiana. Then IU one is like Valentine's Day, but he's doing like late October
he's
here.
getting the information from TikTok.
So is he making an appearance here on the Boss Hog of Liberty?
So he'll be in Indianapolis.
Okay.
The tickets have been, just to his regular shows, have been going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it's all, Old National. There's this massive ticketing issue with tickets going instantly and getting bought up by scalpers or whatever. So now there's a counterculture of, hey, he's saying, I'm going to do more shows. Don't pay more than $100 to see me, no matter what. Just don't do it. I'd rather play
So
it.
he's saying that?
He's saying that. He's saying if my stuff gets bought up by people, just don't come.
Well, he's making it either way.
Yeah. So he's like,
So
just
why
let
would
the
he
scalpers get screwed. So he's trying to take the artist side of this before his tickets even got on sale. But it's been this fun counterculture of people that have totally know who he is, and they're super excited, and then watching social media the last couple of days of going, who the hell is Matt Rife?
Well, and
that's where Jesse was today.
Well, I think it's probably like, I don't get on TikTok. Like, I fucking hate TikTok. I think
TikTok, YouTube. I mean,
I'm on
if
YouTube.
If you're
but
on Instagram, you'll know who he is in a couple weeks.
I've sent you his stuff before. Here recently. You probably didn't watch it, but whatever.
He's not a good friend that way.
No.
I mean,
watched
like,
all of his shit.
Mark just doom sends stuff. Like, literally, I'm like, what is this guy doing right now? Like,
nothing. That's what
I'm like
doing.
technically retired, but I'm over here working, trying to keep up on these messages. But no, like,
Zach, do you know who this guy is?
Not till this week. I still don't know. I mean, I've heard of him. I don't know who he is.
but I haven't even wanted to seek it out. Like, I was just like, I'm to the age where I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this guy can do whatever he wants.
I kind of Jesse's opinion. I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I have no interest in the guy.
So I was like, I've got a show I want to go to tomorrow of this guy named Sam Miller, who I think's funny. Like he's funny, and it's like it's called, like, they call them do not tell shows. So like, you don't know where the venue is until the day of.
Oh shit!
So
yeah,
but it's in Indy.
Yeah, and so it's like but it's a comedy circuit, I think. So like, they do like different shows in different places. So, and they don't tell you who's going. So the only way you know is because you're following one of the comedians who says, "Hey, buy tickets here. I'm one of the comedians."
Yeah.
Like, so if you knew everybody that's there,
You can figure it out.
you could probably build a composite. But they're also like, people might just show up.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I saw Nate Bargatze in Nashville for $5 like that.
yeah. So
$5.
$5.
This is $25 in Greenwood, so it's going to be a haul. But yeah, like, I got to pay $25, and then if I pay the $25 tomorrow, I get directions of where to go, and I still don't know who's going to be there. I don't think.
Sounds spectacular. So yeah, this Matt Rife guy has blown up absolutely. They did like Times Square billboards, like the whole thing this week.
Oh,
so the
yeah,
commercial
I see that.
press has been on. Somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers had him today at a workout or training camp, and he was playing with them. That's when I sent that to Jesse, and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
Well, I heard about him. I heard someone keeps talking about Matt Rife. I'm like,
The memes have been on point this week of like, you don't need Matt Rife tickets, you need to change your oil, lady.
yeah, I've seen that one.
The
My
candy
girlfriend
band.
today asked like who Matt Rife is. I was like, you've seen him before because we seen him a few years ago. He opened for Dane Cook in Indy. I was like, he's making rounds right now, so it's just funny all of this is happening. But I guess I didn't know anything about that.
Well, I guess it's the TikTok culture where, like, if you're not in tune with TikTok,
no.
then you have no idea. Like, it's turning into, like, if you don't have TikTok, you really don't know what's going on. And I'm like,
Or it comes to
This is
Instagram
awesome.
weeks later. That's where I'm at.
I've achieved bliss. I'm like, this is great. I will never download that fucking app ever.
You've achieved old man stage. You have no clue.
Doing the dances and shit.
Well, I got it. So I got it years ago when remember Gary Vee was pimping it for a long time. He's like, this is going to be the biggest thing ever. And it was like before,
He wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong. I think he might own part of it, but
He doesn't look Chinese.
No, but he was like, it was huge in China. And he goes, this is huge already in China. He's like, they're working on an app here. And like when I got on it, and like I found like some dude doing puppet shows with like the little like things that you pull, like the little plastic things. And I was like, this is actually
This is the quality content you look for.
I was the only guy I followed on TikTok. I was like, that is hilarious because he just would have them and like stage them and like.
Jesse's here for puppet shows.
Dude, if a puppet show is solid comedy, whatever his fucking name is, the ventriloquist guy.
Jeff Dunham?
Yeah, huge dude. I would rather go and watch an old school puppet show. And if it's funny as hell, I would die and pay great money to see it.
You don't want to go see Matt Rife with like
What if Matt Rife has
chiseled chin and
what if Matt Rife has puppets?
I say Matt Rife just seems like if he toured with Dane Cook, this is even funnier because he's like Dane Cook. He's like this generation's Dane Cook.
Exactly, and that's what people figured out this way. They're like, oh, this guy's not as funny as Dane Cook. He's fly by night and whatever. And I'm like, he's actually really funny.
Well, say
he is pretty funny, and his
Dane Cook only is fly by night.
He's going to be hated because all the wives and girlfriends are going to absolutely love him. He's the Jack Harvey of the comedy scene.
I saw somebody else comparing his rise to Dane Cook, and I don't remember how Dane Cook came around. But
he opened for him.
He opened for Dane Cook, but it would make sense.
They were comparing like the phenomenon of because of Dane Cook kind of came in real quick and probably through a non-traditional channel or something. But
Dane Cook did shows, but Dane Cook stole content and he got in trouble. I want to say he created problems in the comedian community because he was stealing bits.
Jokes. Yeah.
He stole a bit from Louis C.K. and Louis C.K.
That guy had it coming.
Did he? Still funny guy.
He's still funny.
And the I mean, if you don't want to watch a masturbate, get the fuck out. But he told you. He told you what he was going to do.
Like, hey, by the way,
and take your plants with you.
Yeah. So, but there's a
there was implied consent, just like you coming on this show.
Exactly.
If you don't tell us by 5:00.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like,
gave a brief warning.
Dane Cook stole content, but Dane Cook also dropped out of the limelight because his mom died, or his dad died. And so he like went into a deep state of depression. Not that I'm like, I feel bad for that. I don't know what that's about, but that's why he stopped doing comedy. It wasn't like he's like the crowd, like he didn't lose his crowd. He just stopped doing it.
Like Garth Brooks.
The last bit he did was like, he tried to come back and it was still sad and dark comedy. It was like not Dane Cook comedy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't whatever Garth Brooks' alter ego guy was called.
Chris Gaines. And then he left for like a decade. Now he's back.
I think the comparison, it says, because I looked it up, because I don't remember, Dane Cook was a long time ago, actually. And Dane Cook originally started, he built his following on MySpace.
Yeah.
Through his personal account. I think that's probably what they're talking about. It's like using social media to make yourself popular and then expanding outward from that.
As long as he doesn't use instruments or music as like a way to do comedy, he's way better in my book.
That is very hostile to Rodney Carrington.
I don't like music and comedy.
I don't like music.
Crossing paths. Like it pisses me off.
Like Jack Black. No.
Jack Black is the only guy that actually gets a pass for me. But like
I'm so turned off by that.
Yeah. And it's only because he's actually a really good guitar player.
So I'll say this. As you guys, I know our listener group's probably not on the TikTok, but I'm your ambassador. This guy's actually funny, although it's going to be really cool to hate him in about a week because he's already overplayed and people don't understand it.
I think the dude's funny.
But the dude is hilarious. And if you can get your wife or girlfriend tickets, you're going to be very popular.
$500.
So the question
but just get in line to buy them for $100. If you don't get them, whatever, move on. He'll do other shows.
I think we need to set up and this is dark and black and going to be frowned upon.
And why we brought you on.
Yeah. But we need to figure out like the over under on when he gets in trouble for underage situations.
He's already got he already has the troubled history.
Yeah.
He's being sold as the bad boy.
You're not a bad boy when you do that.
I think the guy had an OnlyFans account. Like he's already like, yeah, I think so. I think there was all kinds of stuff out there.
I didn't.
So
sign up. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with having an OnlyFans account. I'm more serious, like when he's going to be
Talking
the
about, like an underage.
what's his fucking
Chris
name,
D'Elia.
Chris D'Elia, where he just turns into this fucking dude who's going to have like charges out the wazoo of underage.
Flav had that, and he was on NBC yesterday. The other day, Zach.
Well, he's changed. He's a changed criminal.
He had a picture with Roger Penske.
So Rodney Penske also is in the same boat.
Yeah. That sounded interesting.
Flava Flav's Island. It would be the next. What's the guy that killed himself? Jeff Epstein. It's the Flava Flav didn't kill himself, then hang himself.
Is Flava Flav capable of talking quietly enough to not get caught?
Oh no!
Is he even able to like? I've never heard him like talk like a normal human being, so I'm not sure if that's even possible.
So, Zach, this is the part of the show where we try to explain to Jesse what happened in terms he's going to understand.
Is this racing related?
Yes. So it's a business story.
So Mark, about this floral thing.
It's a business story. So Joey Molinaro is a friend of the show. Joey's podcast co-host is Conor Daly. They're on the Dirty Mo network.
Dirty what?
Dirty Mo Media.
What's the Mo part?
Momentum.
Money.
Got it.
Dirty Money, Dirty Momentum. So they're on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Dirty Mo network. Connor brought a sponsor, which is the people that pay for everything, the Bitcoin, bitnile.com.
Oh, you've told me about
sponsorship.
this guy. I've seen it in the racing.
Todd Alt, yes.
Todd Alt. What's the guy's name?
Connor brought Todd Milton Alt to Ed Carpenter Racing at the beginning of 2022. They've had 18 months of not great performance. And yesterday, the announcement was made that BitNile will continue on with Ed Carpenter Racing, and they're going to sponsor Ed Carpenter, and they're going to sponsor Renus VK, all the teammates. But Connor's no longer there, and they've hired another guy, Ryan Hunter-Ray, to come in and do Connor's job for him.
You gonna have a cutout of him in here too?
If they bring me one, yeah, we will happily put a Conor Daly up.
Right.
Do you like Conor Daly?
He's fine. He's an Indianapolis guy. He's a local racer. He's from Noblesville.
So you're supporting him for that reason?
I'm not. I'm just reading it into the record.
Jim Jones, also from Indiana, is a big supporter of that.
My takeaway on the whole thing is
I
that
do like Kool-Aid.
motorsports is a witch's brew of politics and performance. That's what I said about it. And
What is?
motorsports,
Okay.
the business of motorsports, because you have to run well, and you also have to keep your sponsors happy. And
That's every business, Jer.
right, but I think he failed at the politics side. Is that? Do you agree, Zach?
Yeah, I'm not. It's. Marshall Pert went into it a little bit, and he didn't go into detail. He didn't go into detail. I think some people are thinking that Connor complained after the 500 that that sponsors can sponsor an onboard camera, and they get to decide where the
Say they
camera
pay
goes.
$50,000 for NBC to have a camera in your car.
It's the BitNile in-car camera, and they didn't put it in Connor's car. They put it in his teammate's car. Connor openly complained about that on his podcast, and I don't know if that was enough. I don't know if that was enough for this to happen, but it might have been enough for his team
To justify
say,
it.
this is the chance we have to shove a wedge between him and the sponsor he brought, and to get rid of him but keep the sponsor, and that might have been enough because he complained about that like last week, and then he made it one more week. Ironically, though, he's the best performing car from that team the last two races. He even outran VK at by the end of the Detroit race, but. So yeah,
This
not good
famously
for him.
happened a couple of years ago with the Andretti team, where there's a guy who brought. Are you familiar with Gainbridge? Like the Gainbridge building,
Fieldhouse.
the field house?
Only because they are part of the field house.
Yeah. So this guy brought Gainbridge. He is what it
Before
is.
they were really around.
Yeah.
Little Zach Veach brought him. He met the CEO.
Are you familiar with Cambridge?
No, I'm just.
No, it's
You're you just look wild.
He's got one on, one off.
He's put together.
yeah, Veach met like the CEO through his pastor at his church and brought him into the Andretti team. And then 2 years later, they axed him. And now not only is Gainbridge still sponsoring a car, they are everywhere at the Speedway. They sponsor the 500. They're probably the most prominent sponsor at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the month of May. But Zach Veach has been unemployed for 3 or 4
Zach
years
Veach is
now.
driving a 2-seater at this
What
point.
do they do?
They're an insurance company.
Cambridge's?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Group 1001.
Yeah, no, but like, so my question is, like,
What does bitnile.com do? Nobody knows what these
no,
companies do.
this is where I'm taking this conversation. Why are sponsors dumping so much money? When I'm like, I don't know what the hell you do, and I'm so lazy, and I have the internet in my pocket. Before the internet existed, I'm like, I'll never look this up.
Do I need a champion spark plug? I don't know, but they're on a car.
Well, in seemingly,
But that makes sense. You're at a race, you're like, oh, race cars, good spark plugs. I'm like Bitcoin and racing. I'm like,
yeah. Well, and then BitNiles, I'm not even sure what they do now because they were crypto. That was their whole thing, was crypto,
which we didn't talk about today. But there's big ruffles in crypto.
Well, that's obviously not been as big of a thing as it was 2.5, 3 years ago, and they kind of came around. And so I think that what their goals are and what they are is changing, because now it's turning into like, most of the time you see them just like, come to the website. And I think it's kind of like a metaverse kind of thing that they've got going on. Like, and I don't have any interest in going there. I've met Todd Alt, and I wouldn't trust him with like a key to a door I didn't own. Like, he just looks like the kind of guy.
Zach wouldn't trust him with somebody else's Aldi shopping cart.
No, he's playing. He's
like, that's not his quarter. Don't trust it.
Yeah, he just. Yeah, you look at him and you're like, yeah, you're shady.
Yeah, you told me, you're like, you need to go Todd Alt. I'm like, and I looked at him like,
get in on the gravy train while you can.
He remembered.
Well, this is because this is the story, is that you were trying to sell a Bitcoin picture.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That Mark had designed.
Yeah, I still have it.
And I said, you need to sell Todd Alt.
Todd Alt looks like Steve Bannon. Like, I don't know. In my head, that's like, he's like a Steve Bannon. I don't know if they even look alike, but that's what I remember.
No, I don't think.
Not really.
But,
all right, but I wouldn't trust Steve Bannon either. Like, they gave me the same vibe.
Well,
when I see them, I'm like,
listen, Jesse, you are really not doing a good job of selling this painting. Just Todd Alt now.
Well, it's fine.
It's not your money.
We really need to sell that painting.
Yeah, we do need to. Both of us really need to sell that painting.
It's framed and sitting on your carpet.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on my
I think
wall
it's still wrapped.
It is.
You want to donate it? We'll put it up in here. The old Bitcoin.
If you want to try and sell, if you want to try and
property of Todd Alt,
if you want to try and sell it to Todd, then give it to Jeremiah, and then have him give it to Sarah. And
this
Sarah's
thing is
got a pretty
huge.
good shot of selling it to him at the track.
It's big. It's real big.
We could transport it to Mid Ohio. Danny's going to Mid Ohio. My brother's going to Mid Ohio after the Taylor Swift concert. I'm going to put Danny in charge of selling Todd Alt this painting.
The painting's sick.
It's great.
I ain't gonna lie.
It was a great idea, a great execution. It's a great collaboration.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't seen one like it. So
off air, we'll have a sideline conversation about the minimum that we'll take for it, and we'll try to sell it for a bigger number, and we'll just see how it goes. And we'll see. We will reconvene in August.
1 Bitcoin.
Maybe July.
Just one. That's all we need.
We just want to sell it for 1 Bitcoin.
That's the minimum. Yeah.
All right.
Like 27,000.
Bitcoin.
That's where the bid starts.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not breaking.
Well,
that.
Ryan Hunter Ray recently came into some money. He might be willing to spend 2 Bitcoins on it.
I'm not. Well, give him his number. Yeah. We'll give him a return.
Maybe you'll make him 2 or 3 of them.
No, just one.
Yeah.
Like, that's how rare this thing is.
No, I'm saying, but I mean, if you spend 1 Bitcoin on it, sell the next guy one for a Bitcoin too. All right. So that's the story there.
Great story.
I don't know what's going to happen with Conor Daly. I don't know what's going to happen with bitnile.com, but they found a way back into our news. Final thought from me real quick. I'm going to start the final thoughts to show everybody how it's done. We have a big congratulations to Craig and Shauna DaCosta, our patron and our very good friend from Hawaii. Craig became a dad. Everest was born a week ago. So he's home. Everything looks to be good and excited, but saw that news came along. And in the time Craig has been a listener of the show, he's found himself a lady. He's gotten married, become a dad. So we've gone through the journey together. Craig is the guy that vacationed in Indiana, came to the studio, visited here in 2018, and
From Hawaii.
From Hawaii. He's been here. Hawaiians visit Indiana.
What did he do here for entertainment?
We had dinner. We went
Where?
St. Elmo's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought you were about to say Montgomery's.
No, it's close.
R.I.P.
I know.
We would have gone to the tap house. Didn't exist yet. But yeah, congratulations to Craig and Shauna.
Thinking about that, one of my friends has a friend who contacted her and was like, "Hey, I'm coming from Australia and I want to visit. Like, I want to see you. She's like, do you want to fly out to like Portland or something? He's like, well, I can't make that work. She's like, well, where do you live? She goes, Indiana. I'd love to come see it. From Australia. You want to come from Australia and check out Indiana? All right.
Major.
Have fun. No kangaroos.
I have some breaking news. Danny was watching the live stream, but he stepped away. But his son is watching the program still.
Perfect.
And I've received a note from Danny's wife, the wonderful Josie, and she said Danny stepped away from listening to the podcast for a minute. Will tried to relay the message about painting to him like this: Jeremiah said you have to go to Mid Ohio and own a Mid Ohio painting.
Perfect.
I think Will knows his Uncle Jeremiah pretty well.
Thank you,
have
Will.
to go.
You
There's
have to
not
do it.
optional. Yeah.
It's done. Consider it sold. Danny's got it covered.
All right.
That's all I heard.
That's all I need.
One Bitcoin.
No, we got to figure out what his percentage.
What's Will's commission?
Yeah. What's the commission for Will? And
Might have to.
There's a lot of people involved in the commission
we
here.
might need 2 Bitcoins.
One for us.
Zach, what do you got for final thoughts here, buddy?
I don't have much. It's I'm over the haze, and I didn't know. I saw it on Monday, and I was like, "What's burning?" And my friends were like, "I don't know." And it turns out Canada was on fire. So
I don't know.
one of those weird
I don't know,
things.
eh?
I just
Yeah.
hope they have it put out by the time I go visit in September.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even smell like maple syrup or anything. Like they're not doing a great job. But
I've heard
other
jokes
than
that
that-
Southerners are just taking brisket outside and hoping it does something to it.
hey, it's probably worth a try. But other than that, no. Have a good weekend.
All right. Mr. Mark, remind everybody how they can get in touch so that they can let you practice on them like they're an orange or a pigskin.
Yeah. So if you want beginner tattoos,
Sell it good, buddy.
I'm just being honest. Nope. At Merker Mark on Instagram. For the time being, I'm just checking my DMs to see if somebody's claiming Flash or can do something within reason. I'm not doing walk-ins or anything like that just yet. But in the future, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But yeah,
And if they want a custom Christmas card with them and their dog and their wife,
yeah, definitely hit me up for that too. Which I did do a custom Christmas card last year. It was a very weird interaction, but it happened.
can we get one for Jesse where he's like laying out on a couch covered
Yeah,
in cat
one
So
blanket?
he is,
Bitcoin.
I've been trying to sell him on doing custom cards for like 2 or 3 years now, maybe 4. Like doing a set, like a series, and then you just print them and send them. And people fill them out.
I don't know. It seems like a
You can
hard
buy
sell
those
for
on
me.
bitmover.com.
Good. I can host them there.
So, and Jesse, you have been developing your own business.
Yeah.
You've not taken the time to promote it, but we're here now, so we're going to do it
I've taken time to promote it.
on this show.
Yep.
Bitmover.com.
Bitmover.com. BITMVR. That is
And
BITMVR.com. That is BITMVR.com.
what would you say that you do? You find friction points and you fix it?
Yeah, try to reduce your friction, and your little journey.
You're like a lubricant.
I try
a
to
tech
apply a little
lubricant.
lubricant
Yes,
to
he
your
is a
daily
lubricant.
processes. Try to streamline stuff. I gave Mark some advice the other day to streamline his business. He did not necessarily
It said
take
sell this
to it.
painting for $1
It's more about how his work intake. But the idea is to don't work hard. Most businesses I've been in and most businesses I watch people do, people work the wrong way, and I'd like to come in and try to help change it up and help you work smarter, not harder. So,
All right. So Jesse's brain is available for hire.
yep, that is bitmvr.com. bitmvr.com.
Bravo.
That is bitmvr.com.
Bravo, Indigo, Tango,
Tango.
Mike,
Victor,
Romeo.
dot Charlie, Oscar, Mike.
All right, that's it. That's enough of this, everybody. Next week, I will be hiding out.
bitmvr.com.
I will be hiding out up north. Dakota is going to be off working, so Zach gets the week off. Our next show
bitmvr.com.
will be on the 22nd of June. Thank y'all.
At
You're-
Merker Mark, buy stuff.
at markermark.com. Boss Hog Liberty.
bitmvr.com.
Godspeed. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.